Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel, guys. And today we're going to break down the two dividend ETFs. We're back talking about how they're doing. How are they doing for me lately? How are they doing for me then? And how will they do for me forever? Guys, we're talking about VYM and SCHD today.
Smash that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Holla at your boys. The Dividend Diplomats. Let's talk VYM. Let's talk SCHD. Let's go, everyone.
Let's go. I mean, Bert buys mounds of SCHD every single week. He's been doing it for years. Remember, guys, he's well now over he's on his way to 2,500 shares of SCHD, but he already has crossed well over 2,000. He earns over $2,000 in dividends. My wife and I, we're crushing through. We are almost at 2,000 shares of VYM, getting so close. And we earned quite a bit of income from VYM, guys. And it's more, I feel like SCHD lately, it's been, kind of interesting. It's more of like, what has it done for me lately type of ETF. And I'm not liking how the community thinks so short term on these ETFs, whether it was VYM, because when SCHD was hot, VYM was not. And then VYM is actually not even getting talked about, even though they are dominating the piss out of shit over the last 5 years. But it was always, SCHD is dominating performance. Back.
We've been talking about this for a while now, that SCHD is just lagging. We talked about it. We talked about it a lot in 2025 about reasons why SCHD continues to be down, how they've had some terrible annual reconstitutions of late, how their performance, their top 10 are just not holding up to a lot of the other gains that you're seeing in the market, where VYM takes a different approach. They just have their 400 stocks. They don't mess around with it. They don't mess around with how they pick the 400. The 400 are there. They have their target and they stick to it. SCHD runs the analytics. They run the computer program every year to spit out some new holdings, and it just hasn't quite worked out for them. We've been all over this topic.
All over this topic, guys. And, the needle keeps moving in a very strange way. We're actually going to look at the year-to-date, 1 year, 5 year, and go back to pretty much just do the max on Google Finance. And then I take like kind of where we're at roughly in August and see from 2015 to 2025 to gauge a 10-year appreciation, post. And it's very interesting. SCHD finally has turned positive, I think, as of this week. Year to date, they're approaching 3% here. I think 2.5% plus. And I think, Bert, you put out a tweet on the handle. I think VYM, oh, wow, battery saver just turned on. VYM performance is up over 9% so far this year.
Yeah, it's been really fun looking at that in Google Finance, where you just put both lines together on the chart, and it's very clear how you see it. VYM is outperforming them. Let's stretch it out to 52 weeks, though. VYM is barely even. They're at 0.29%. 1 year, VYM is up 10.5%. So it gets even larger the longer you start to go.
Yeah, we're almost at that, calendar to calendar 1 year mark, again, 4 months left of the year. I think, gosh, especially after, the interest rate news coming from Papa Powell, we'll see how much of that momentum continues until September when it actually may happen. So, again, I know this is wild was on because the SCHD, they're so heavy in energy. Oh, the energy needs to turn around. Well, let's just say gas Friday morning on the 22nd was 273. Came home and it was 356.
Yeah.
So
310 when I saw this yesterday too. So gas is fluctuating all over the place.
Literally an 80-cent plus swing in the matter of 12 hours.
So all right, let's take this longer than 52 weeks. Let's take this to 5 years, where SCHD is up 45% in the last 5 years compared to what?
Solid.
Yeah, solid.
45% is, guys, it's 45%. Hopefully you didn't sit that money in a savings account saying, I'm earning my 4% and I'm not going anywhere. Well, you could have put it in SCHD and you would have been up 45%. Or VYM at 64% plus.
Yeah. So again, stretch it out longer, VOM continues to crush the performance standpoint. 10 years, the 10-year swag that Lanny was doing, SCHD, 84%. So, no,
Earning over 8% plus per year.
yeah,
And again, I'm just looking at that August 24th through August 28th, whatever Google was able to show me on the stock price history.
compared to VYM at 115% over that same period.
Yeah, I mean, and I forget what year SCHD actually started. It was definitely not a talked about ETF at all until I think COVID, to be honest. Um, I think they were very much in their infancy. I don't know if it was 2010 Bird or if it was 2013 when they created
I'm
SCHD.
looking it up right now. October 2011.
Okay, so again, they were only a couple years in, whereas VOIM was like 2010, 09, maybe 08, or
Yeah.
they've been around longer.
Yeah. So been around longer, but the performance is just hasn't been living up to it. SCHD, we continue to talk about this over and over again. The performance is lagging. Performance is behind. We're not talking about performance being behind the S&P 500. It's behind its peers right now. And sure, we can look at yield. You can look at dividend growth, which we will here in a second. But at some point, the performance does matter for the fund. And let's see it. Let's hear what's the yield and growth combo factors here.
The yield again, SCHD is dominating the yield here with over 3.7% almost right now, based on the trailing 12-month dividend divided by the current share price. So 3.67% yield. Again, well, 2 times, almost 3x the S&P 500 now.
Yeah, compared to VIM, we know it's a higher yield. VIM is at 2.53% yield. So VIM still beats the S&P 500 by a lot, but it's lagging SCHD by 1%. So you're not picking up that same yield.
You're not picking up the yield. Again, this is using VIM's trailing 12 months, the last 4-quarter dividends. And we all know that Q2 dividend, tough, rough. But let's slide into what the dividend growth investors really care about. And this is where, again, despite the performance over the last 10 years for SCHD, I think the growth is really where you will see SCHD shine, Bert.
Yeah, at 15.32% compared to VIM, which is a little bit lower at 4.43%.
Yeah, and again, this was taken June dividend from 2025 minus the June dividend in 2020 divided by the June dividend in 2020 divided by 5 for the 5-year mark, guys. So SCHD dominating, not just dominating, but over, tripling what, almost quadrupling what VYM's dividend growth rate is when you look at it from that lens. So as an income investor, you've done very well if you've owned SCHD. I mean, again, if you don't care about your market value, but if your income has been growing and compounding at 15% per year on average,
yeah,
inflation, what?
Yeah, it's still a great fund, but you also, again, you can't ignore the performance of it either, too. And I think that's what gets lost in the argument, what breeds the frustration from both of us sometimes. You have a VYM, which is crushing it too, and it just feels like SCHG sucks all the oxygen out of the room.
Oh, it does. I mean, the funniest part is, again, right now it's negative commentary on SCHD, but there's like no commentary about VYM. It's none. And it's just like this little ETF that just says, all right, this is why I buy VYM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like behind the scenes.
It's a great fund. It just doesn't get talked about. The Vanguard funds just don't get talked about the way that SCHD and some of the other ones do.
Outside of VOO, VTI, the 2 popular Vanguard ETFs, yeah. I mean, any other ETF from Vanguard usually doesn't get looked at.
Yeah. So, hey, it is what it is, but it's performing, and that's really what matters in the long run, regardless.
Now, what I would say, though, is, maybe some of the industries that SCHD has picked in that rebalancing, maybe it was just strategic, like, hey, they were laggards. Maybe they will be laggards for the first few months out of the gate. And maybe, again, everything is cyclical. So maybe this is where the tide starts turning.
A team that the baseball team that always has bad Aprils. Like the team that's the starter baseball team.
Yeah, gosh. And then the team that, craps the bed in August when they really shouldn't.
Hmm.
Did they win today?
I don't
Don't
know.
even check. Well, don't even.
No, I'll try. Let me check quickly while we're going through this. So I guess, Lane, do you have any other thoughts you want to share about VYM, SCHD?
No, I mean, I keep buying both VYM every week, SCHD every single day, just kind of building out the position and very curious. I've done pretty well with SCHD so far. I think I'm up somewhere between 5 to 8% already in the few months that I've been buying them. So I'm outperforming probably what they look like because I think when I started buying them, they were in the red zone. So it makes that turnaround a lot better.
Guardians didn't win today. They lost 5-0.
So they haven't scored in 2 games. That's good.
No, they haven't. They're below 500. It's 64 and 65 as we speak.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
How
well,
the momentum comes to a screeching halt.
I know for gambling with that promo code CLASSE, you can
Yeah. 3.
get some free bets.
So guys, let us know. Are you buying SCHD still? Are you buying BYM? Has this video swayed you any direction? Are you sticking to your SCHD guns, or have you moved on to like DGRO, Fidelity's dividend growth one, or some other
FDVV.
dividend growth? What's that?
FDVV is the other one.
There it is. Which one are you doing, if any? Let us know in the comments,
If
guys.
you haven't already subscribed to the channel, give this video a thumbs up. And remember, you are either with us or you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert the Hurt and Lanny from the DD, over and out.